So, but what I really did want to hear was how you found the Rocky Horror Picture Show and your feeling about like watching it for the first time.
So when I was in middle school, the big mall that was about a 20-minute drive had a multiplex in it. And so occasionally we'd go see movies there. And I always remember seeing this poster with these giant lips on it, which, by the way, those of you at home, you can't see this, but Pete has them as his background right now. The lips from the beginning
It
of
looks
Rocky.
like they're gonna eat him.
Yeah.
But so I knew nothing about this movie, but it was always there, and I'd heard it, and then I'd heard a tiny little bit, and I had this really weird conception of like a group of kids goes to some castle, and there's a giant mouth that they meet, and I realized a little later that I was combining it with the example dungeon in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So I knew nothing about it. And then when I was about 15, a friend of mine who was sort of my friend, my idol,
I think I know the sample dungeon you're talking about. I believe I do. Yeah. I think I used it. I traced it to do to be the DM of my first adventure back when I was like 13, I think.
Oh, okay.
I
All right.
traced that. I tried to run it.
The mouth, there's a riddle, and it's something like he says some letters and you have to complete it, and the letters are the first letter of each number. It's like
might be a different dungeon. After the show, I'll grab. I think I have it in the garage here and see if it's
okay, cool.
the same console. Anyway, but I interrupted your story yet again.
That's fine. So I don't remember how it came up, but I had my friend, my idol. I was a sophomore, he was a senior. I'm like, wow, I can't believe this. There were a few that kind of adopted me a little bit. I was a loner. I barely had any friends. The people that were sort of my peers in that, they were really kind of nasty.
Well, you hadn't gone through your big growth spurt yet.
Rose, I hadn't. Yeah, I once got. I was walking in the hallway as a freshman near the lockers, and somebody much taller than me walked up, and he kind of like shoved me, and he said, "Wow, that kid must have been only 4 feet tall." And I turned around and said, "I'm 5'1", damn it." So,
And you're like 5'3" now, right?
At least, maybe I'm 5'3.5", Dan. I'm between 5'7" and 5'8". I was holding on to that close to 5'8" for a long time, but I'm just above 5'7". I've shrunk, but I don't remember how he had mentioned it a number of times, and and I recognized that from that poster. So I still had no idea what I was going into, other than he didn't. I don't think he told me many details. But we prepared the toast, we prepared the rice, we prepared the toilet paper and all that stuff. And I was like, whoa, what are we going into? This looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And then the movie starts. And it's a little kind of normal, actually, from, normal in the sense of normies, right?
Right.
And so everything just kind of like, and then it becomes a little weird. And then suddenly you get the guy with the eyeliner and the fishnet stockings and the leather underwear. I'm like, oh my God, and I'm feeling a little turned on.
Right?
I'd never seen anything gay or queer, certainly not like that. And I was like, I suddenly felt almost, I'm gonna say transported. I felt almost transported, and it was the closest at that point that I'd come to being out. The wanting to go to see it again and again. I remember even as we were driving home, I just kept repeating, when are we going to go see it again? When are we going to see it again? And finally, my friend, I was in the back seat, we went with another friend, and he turns around and said, "Will you shut up?" Like yelled at me, because I mean, I was a pain. I was a little shit, like saying that over and over again. But I could not. I was already before it was over. I was ready to see it again.
Yeah.
And so then when I moved, my junior and senior were somewhere else, and when I made some friends there, I took them to see it. And I was in the closet, and so still a little bit like trepidatious, like I don't know, what are they going to think? Are they going to think that I'm gay or something? And I'm like, oh well, that would have been good actually, and if they had been accepting. But so I took a few friends to see it, and we saw it a number of times together, because I didn't want to go see it alone. I mean, it's a communal experience.
Right.
Oh, and the whole thing with people, the shadow cast and the people yelling out the lines throughout the whole thing, and like, how do they know all these lines? This is great. And so the whole the interactive portion of it and the queerness of it really grabbed me.
Ron, I think you just nailed exactly why Rocky Horror is what it is and Shock Treatment is what it is. There were so many stories connected to Rocky Horror, just like yours, and there are no Shock Treatment stories like that.